Okay, everybody, I think we are on air right now. I'm looking at the sign back there and it's lighting up saying on air. Thank you guys so much for being here. I am Amanda Pascali. Pat Byrne was before me, and we are at one of the best listening rooms in the world at the Mucky Duck here in Houston. Yeah. I have been all over the world, and this is one of my favorite places to play ever because Rusty and Shane and Juan and the whole crew here at the Mucky Duck work so hard to make this a family. You know, you just have this feeling of family when you're here. There's never a time when I come to the Mucky Duck and I feel like I don't belong here. So I said I'm Amanda Pascali. You usually see me playing in a trio in Amanda Pascali and the Family, but tonight I have the special opportunity of playing a solo show, and that means I'm going to take advantage of that and play a bunch of songs from way back when that I haven't played for years. And I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to go down memory lane a little bit, but before I do that, I'll play a relatively recent one for you. I'll start it out with something familiar. This one's called Tarantella Avion. They call him Cello. He comes from where the wind is cold and dry. He was born to chase the sun in a town called Craiova. Perhaps that's why they called him the sky. Perhaps that's why they called him the sky. Tra-la-la-la-lee-roo, tra-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-lee-roo, la-la-la-la-la-la. And I met a boy they called him Sole, figlio che per sempre splenderà. He's searching for a better life, a bigger, brighter, different life, to drown his perfect body in the light. I'll chase the stars on planes and cars, clouds whisper to him near and far. He's searching for the everlasting light, a pilot who's escaping from the night. Well, he's quietly escaping from the night. Tra-la-la-la-roo, tra-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-roo, la-la-la-la-la-la. And he'll search for the town where the sun never sets, and the earth will keep chasing the moon. He'll search for the town where the trains are bound. If he travels straight, he'll be there soon. La-da-da-da, ra-da-dee-da-da-dee-da, da-da-dee-da-da-da-da-dee-da-da-da-da, se-ra-da-da-da, ra-da-dee-da-da-dee-da, da-da-dee-da-da-da-da-dee-da-da-da-dee-da-da-da. Then he takes my hand, it seems. Is this what tarantella means? He asks me true from somewhere deep within. Then the planets and the moons digress. The Balkan sun, it never sets on the marriage of the East and the West. Tra-la-la-la-roo, tra-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-roo, la-la-la-la-la-la. And he'll search for the town where the sun never sets, and the earth will keep chasing the moon. He'll search for the town where the trains are bound. If he travels straight, he'll be there soon. La-da-da-da, la-da-dee-da-da-dee-da, se-la-da-dee-da-da-da-dee-da-da-da-dee-da-da-da, se-ra-da-da-da, la-da-dee-da-da-dee-da, la-da-dee-da-da-da-dee-da-da-da-dee-da-da-da. Forever give him the courage to stand complete completely naked in the dark to feel the everlasting daylight from a time when the end of everything became the start. He's searching and searching, he doesn't have to hide. We're just a bunch of foreigners from the other side, and we live our lives in treasure chests, colors uninvented yet, that dawn above a place in which the sun will never set. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, so thanks to everybody who's here in person, but also here virtually. Yeah, it's very much a pleasure for me to be here at the Mucky Duck, because we had an entire European tour that we had planned for over the summer that we had booked, and it was canceled. And yet, throughout the pandemic, the Mucky Duck has been working hard to stay open. So right now, you guys who are tuning in virtually, but also who are here in person, are not only supporting independent artists like myself, but also supporting independent venues like the Mucky Duck, who are working so hard to stay open during a really tough time for all artists and all small business owners. I mentioned that I was going to go down memory lane a little bit. This is one of the first songs that I ever wrote. And during the pandemic, I have been fortunate enough to be working with Noel Paul Stuckey from the 1960s band Peter, Paul, and Mary, to work on social change projects within the Houston immigrant community. And so I created an asynchronous online ESL program that uses music to teach English as a second language to immigrants and refugees whose English classes had to be transitioned online due to COVID-19. And I was sitting in a ESL class with a very experienced ESL teacher, and the lesson that she had crafted for that day was a lesson about one of my songs, this song that I'm about to play for you. So the song is called Give Me a Hero, and the lesson that she crafted around this song was she told the students to write what it means to them to be a hero. What is a hero? Who is a person that is a hero? And that just warms my heart so much, because this is one of the first songs that I ever wrote, and I wrote it about being the daughter of immigrants and knowing that I am a product of my parents' sacrifices, and that there are people halfway across the world who are watching me and hoping for me to become something, and wanting to become a hero, wanting to be somebody for them. So here's the song. It's called Give Me a Hero. Goodbye heroes, goodbye thieves, inside of me is made of thee. And goodbye heartbreakers and vagabonds with wooden teeth. Oh, goodbye soldier with a kiss, but always in my heart. Goodbye, goodbye from my lips, but never from my heart. And yet it's now I begin to see a vagabond inside of me, but careful eyes that like a thief, a broken heart that seeks to be a hero, a hero. Oh, la da 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 da, la di da 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 da, la da 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 da. I wanna be a hero. Tell me, a heart of gold. Oh, why has the world become so cold? I am half sick of seeing shadows painted in the galaxies, and every corner that I turn, the shielded faces want something in return. Well, there's a big brother in every country of the world, and he's watching me. Oh, he's watching me. To see a gypsy and a prole in me, but starry eyes that can't be sold, a heart of gold that knows no old Ulysses. In a dream I see you sincerely asking me, did you always want to be a hero? A hero. La da di da di da di da, ra di da 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 da, la da di da di da di da. I wanna be a hero. La da di da di da di da, ra di da 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 da, la da di da di da. I wanna be a hero. Give me a hero. Well, I wanna be a hero. Give me a hero. Well, I'm searching for a hero. Well, sorry, Molly, sorry, Dad. Well, promise me you won't be sad when I leave, and will you see me on the TV when I will be a hero to someone somewhere out there? I swear that I'll be someone's hero. I swear. Oh, someday, tomorrow or today. Oh, someday, tomorrow or today. Someday, tomorrow or maybe today. Thank you, guys. If you like these songs, you can find me on all the streaming platforms that are out there. I'm pretty easy to find. And I think that there's also, you should see in the live stream video, my Venmo information, my PayPal information, and my Patreon link, because we are trying to fund our new collection of recordings through our funds that we gain on Patreon by providing our listeners with exclusive behind-the-scenes content of my travels and, songs that I'm in the process of writing or translating. But also, if you're feeling generous, you can go to the Mucky Duck website and you can buy a meal for a frontline worker, because those frontline workers have been working so hard during the pandemic. And if you do that, If you buy a meal for a frontline worker, you're not only supporting the frontline workers, but you're also supporting the mucky duck. I love independent venues, and I really want to make sure that they stay alive and that they are here even after the pandemic is over. Thank you. I mean, thank you guys, because you're here tonight, so it obviously means that you care about these places, and I'm glad to be among people who believe in that as well. So I'll play you another one. It has a very creative title. It's a waltz, and it's in E minor, so I called it Waltz in E minor. Beautiful waste of time. You've always been a little dream of mine. I laid it down in the snow 100 times, and then I waited just to say my last goodbye. I say goodbye, bello, bello, bello cold. Hello, there's a better world waiting for me. Bello, bello, bello cold. Hello. Oh, how ugly, ugly life can be. Di morire Arlecchina count down for me. La da, la da, da da, da da, da da, da da. Special thank you to our sound guy, Juan, for making me sound good, and also to Rusty and Teresa and Shane for making me look good with all these lights and the whole production that they've got going on here. when the folks at the Mucky Duck do a live stream, they don't just set up a camera and start recording. They set up multiple cameras, multiple lights, and it's it warms my heart to see how much work they put into making this something good, because the artists that play here are good, and the production that they give it is just as good, if not better. So big thanks to them. Continuing with the memory lane theme, I during the pandemic, I have been cleaning a lot of old videos off of my computer, and I found a video of me performing from 4 years ago, right when I started university. I think my mom probably recorded it on a camcorder, like an old school camcorder. It was 4 years ago, and it was the first show that I ever headlined all by myself, and I was 18. I was playing a song that I had just written at the time when I started university, and I was not yet declared as a natural sciences major, but I was trying to declare as one. And I had one of my first classes I ever took or had to take was chemistry lab. This is a college in America, so of course you have to buy all of the lab equipment yourself. And on the first day of class, I met the guy who was a graduate student who was selling the lab coats that you had to buy. And I had a huge crush on him. And so I wrote a song called Kiss Me Outside the Chemistry Lab. And I never meant for it to be a serious song, and it's still not a serious song, but I figured I haven't played this song in 4 years, and now I've graduated with my degree in natural sciences. Thank you. And so I figured, why not? Let's step back in time for a minute, and I will play you Kiss Me Outside the Chemistry Lab. Dreamt I was a troubadour who stood before an open door and gazed with starry eyes upon an endless sea. A dark and empty galaxy, oh nothing for infinity, outside the chemistry lab where you'll kiss me and say, ah, ooh, 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 we'll sing, ah, ooh. Amore mio, why a dimension, a refugee from another dimension. You're a photograph from a dream I've had. So kiss me outside the chemistry lab and say, ah, ooh, 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 ooh. We'll sing, ah, ooh, la da da di da da, say la da di da da. Voice from an eastern galaxy, a peasant, a poet, and a king. I hope when the rain falls through the building cracks, say you might kiss me outside the chemistry lab tonight and say, ah, ooh, 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 ooh. We'll sing, ah, ooh, la da da di da da, say la da di da da. Thank you guys so much. So what I've been doing during the pandemic, because I can't play as many gigs, is I have been working as an editorial assistant for a former professor of mine who is writing a book about Dante Alighieri. And so this song that I'm going to play is from when I took a class in university about Dante, and we were reading the Inferno, or Hell, and when Dante describes his idea of hell, there is a sign at the gates that says, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here." And a lot of artists have drawn, pictures of different modern American cities with at the gates of these cities are these words. And I think whenever I hear my parents talk about what life was like for them as immigrants in New York City in the 80s, sounds exactly like Dante's description of hell. And I think that this is something that not very many people talk about. We like to talk about the rose-colored view of what the immigrant story is, the self-made man, the success stories. But sometimes we neglect to talk about the initial period that is, for many people, very hellish. You're in a place where you don't have any connections and you don't speak the language. And I strive to write songs about the truth. Even if it's ugly. And so here is a song about the ugly truth. It's about coming to a new country and for it to be so hard that you think, perhaps one day when I make enough money, I'll go back to where I came from, because there's no way that I can spend my life washing cars or working in a factory in such a hellish place. Of course, my parents eventually decided to stay, so it wasn't always that bad, but this song kind of captures that initial feeling of wanting to go back home. It's called Temporary Home. Everybody says that anything can happen. He said, I haven't seen the sun, and just as soon as I have made it, I swear I'm going home. I swear I'm going home. Every morning since he donned a uniform and boots, just like he did at home. And the factory in shades of muted black and white and blue, no color at TV home, no color at TV home. Temporary empty room, temporary telephone, temporary concrete ceiling, temporary home. Ooh, 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 ooh. About a man who worked the sickle with his hand, and a voice that roared like thunder. He said the journey to the golden ground is just along the path down 7 levels under. Oh, temporary empty room, temporary sleep alone, temporary wings to fly to a temporary home. Ooh, 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 ooh. passport, no nation, no conversation. Where do you belong? No name, no passport, nobody waits for you to know more. Nobody waits in this underground airport. Where do you belong? I said ain't gonna let nobody turn you around, no turn you around, no turn you around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn you around. Where do you belong? I said ain't gonna let nobody turn you around, no turn you around, no turn you around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn you around. Where do you belong? Where do you belong? Where do you belong? Oh, where do you belong? Thank you guys so much. That is actually a very, very new song, and if you want to be part of the process of us getting into the studio and making recordings of those songs during a time when we have no gigs and not much of a way to fund this project ourselves, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Amanda Pascali, and in exchange you get a bunch of exclusive behind the scenes content, and you're helping us make a new record with all of these new songs. So that is one of the new ones that we are trying to record. When I first ever went into the studio to record my songs, the audio engineer asked me what genre of music I play. I told him that I play folk music, but obviously my music doesn't sound like the typical American folk music. It has a lot of those influences, but it has influences from all over the world, really. And he said, I don't really know what to call this, but it's unlike anything that I've ever heard before. And so I decided to coin a genre myself for my own music. So it's not American folk music, but it's also not Italian music, even though I sing in Italian. Not quite Eastern European music, even though it has a lot of Eastern European influences. But it's immigrant music. It's immigrant American folk music because it's brought here from somewhere else and nobody quite knows where. It's too foreign for here, too foreign for home, and never enough for both. And I write about my experiences growing up as a first-generation American, as the daughter of a refugee, the daughter of two immigrants. But a recent interest that I've taken, I guess, during the pandemic is focusing on other people's stories and trying to be a messenger of not only my stories, but other people's stories. And an interest that I've taken up is translating old folk songs from Italian or Italian dialects into English, because I think that there are these songs that are centuries and centuries old, and yet we can still relate to them in the current day. And so I'm going to play you a song that I recently translated into English from Sicilian, which is different than Italian, because Sicilian is essentially like a different language from Italian. It's so I had to translate it from Sicilian to Italian to English. And it's an old folk song about not being able to fall asleep, about tossing and turning because you're thinking about someone. And this is a feeling that I think even people today can relate to. And if I didn't tell you it was hundreds of years old, perhaps you wouldn't know. So I'll play you my English translation that I wrote first, and then I will play the Sicilian, or I will sing the Sicilian part afterwards. I toss and turn until the morning, sighing. The night will meet the day, and still I'm trying. Your eyes will fill my thoughts until I realize the hours that will pass before the sunrise. Hearts that never close will never rest. Hearts will always long for those who left. I'm captured by your love until the day that fate will follow me toward the grave. Mi volto e mi rivolto sospirando, passo le notti interi senza sonno. E lì bigizi tuoi vai contemplando, quando la vita mia finisce e morire. Pitiya non posso ora più dormire. Sta afflitto cuore, lo sai quando è che io dai alla sari, quando la vita mia finisce e morire. Vita mia finisce e morire. Thank you guys so much for listening to that. It's kind of a work in progress. I love translating songs. I do consider myself a translator in the literal sense, but also in the theoretical sense. A translator, kind of translating messages across cultures, across nations. With that, here is a song that I wrote in half English, half Italian, called Hey Amorino. One, two. that you don't want me. You can be anything you want to be, my love. My love. Meraviglioso sogno d'oro, cuore mio che è prezioso, viaggiatore, sognatore, walk across the world as you sing a little story, and even if you decide that you don't want me, you can be anything you want to be. Questions that consume your mind. Well, there are some who search and never find out. So hey, amorino, hey, tesoro, tell me, won't you, baby, will you love me tomorrow? Oh, my love, I'm dreaming of giving you the sky with the stars I borrow. And even if you decide you wanna jump on a plane to Sicily, well, no, forever you can always count on me, my love. And even if you decide that you don't want, you can be anything you want to be, my love. Anything you want to be, my love. Once more. Anything you want to be, my love. Ooh. Thank you guys so much. If you like that song, as I said, we're on all streaming platforms, but I also have hard copies of the album with me tonight. So if you're interested in buying one of those, I do have them with me. But there's also ways to buy them online if you just go to my website, amandapascali.com. And also, don't forget that you can support the Mucky Duck by going to the Mucky Duck website and buying a meal for a frontline worker. I can't thank the Mucky Duck enough for having me here tonight. Yeah, I love this place. I've said it like a million times, but I really do. I really love this place. As I said, I usually play in a trio, and when we play all together, we're standing up. So it's kind of unusual for me to play sitting down, but I figured we're all kind of in a conversation, kind of intimate feeling right now, so I figure I'll sit down. But the thing I forget is that when I cross my legs, one of them falls asleep. I don't know if you've seen that Seinfeld episode where he's crossing his legs and he forgets to alternate his legs, so one of them falls asleep. And then when he gets up, he can't really walk normally because one of his legs fell asleep. Anyways, I'm trying to avoid that, so yeah. So I'm trying to alternate my legs here. But anyways, that song that I just played, I have a new memory associated with it because last week my partner and I took a spur-of-the-moment trip to Arizona, driving in my car, and he's here tonight, actually. So we drove my car all the way there, and it was like falling apart on the way there. And we went to go, well, along the way, we went to go see some of his relatives who are, older folks at this point, I think in their 70s or maybe 80s or so. And we decided to play this song for them. And they got up and they started dancing. And it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, because you think that, somebody is too old in terms of the age of what, the number of what their age is to get up and start dancing, but never doubt for a second that people of a certain age can be more lively and more full of life and passion than you can be at some times. Yeah, especially with music, because music has something that it's not explainable, even by science, I think. And this is coming from a part scientist, part musician that's saying that. But yes, anyways, that song has a special memory for me, and I hope that if you go and listen to that song later, you imagine this story that I'm telling you now. I'm going to tune real quick and then play you another new song. This is another of the ones that we are trying to get into the studio to record these days, that we're trying to fund through our Patreon. It's called The Colonist Tango. Tu mi guardavi con quegli occhi, tu mi studiavi, questo lo so, mi hai pensato come scoperta, ero una specie di essere selvatico, e ora colonizzatore, cosa hai trovato in questa terra proibita? Cosa hai trovato in questa terra mia? So you set your sail and you drew your compass, Christopher Columbus. Your ship is bound for gold and for glory. Aboard a lonely trumpet sings yam dum dum, yam de dum dum dum, yam da di da di da da, yam dum dum, yam de dum dum dum, yam da di da di da da. Stranger, tell San Francisco your course is set. Oh navigator, oh perpetrator, marvel at the mess you've left. Said 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Nina Pinta Santa Maria, this land was never yours to keep, and I am not your discovery. Lie, lie, lie. once you tricked me into your desire. You used your lips and hands to build a burning fire. And higher, higher, till you burn me chasing pleasure. Ingrained inside my mind, a man with stolen treasure, forever in eternity. In eternity. In eternity. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for listening. That song is deeply from my heart. So thank you guys. I appreciate it a lot. I mentioned to you guys that I've been working during the pandemic as an editorial assistant for a former professor. He mostly teaches Italian studies and writes poems in Italian, which I help him translate into English. But other subjects he teaches are like, philosophy and world cultures and other similar things like that. So if you will allow me to go into the weeds for a moment on something that I learned from one of his courses recently, is there is a philosopher named Hannah Arendt, and she developed this concept of the banality of evil. And essentially what that means is that you don't have to be evil to do evil things. So she basically said that the worst evils of all history have been committed by nobodies. People that they considered themselves to be just cogs in the machine, people that were just following orders from somebody else, but they actually play a large part in these huge evils that have been committed all throughout history. And it's because they were nobodies. Precisely because they were not thinking for themselves, their lack of being their own person. And so I'll leave it at that. And I'll play you this next song. I wrote it about deportation, or if you want to think about it, about the deportation agents. It's called Not Today. I once dreamt that I was captured by purple-clad and fair-skinned thieves. They cut my legs when I tried to run, and they told me not to speak. They painted pictures of my family on the billboards in the streets. With weapons and with knives in hand, they called us violent and they called us weak. And I close my eyes and I start to dream, and my arms become wings. And I fly off to a gold-paved paradise, and I begin to sing. You can't stop an airplane at 500 tons of steel. Forward fast and heavy above the sea. You can't stop a pilot when her hands are on the wheel. And God knows you can't stop me. And I'm never gonna be eternally one of your numbers in a distant, endless field, with a quiet little voice and a quiet little choice. Ooh, I will lift La 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 la. Hey, la 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 la. Hey, ain't no way they're gonna take me away. I found a home in the ones that I love, and I found the truth in the land that I dreamed of. And tomorrow I can't rob all that I have got today. Ain't no way they're gonna take me away. E tutta la gente mi chiede sempre: ma tu chi sei, da dove vieni e dove vai? E quando mi chiede mio nome sempre, io dico: piacere, mi chiamo illegale. La 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 la. Hey, la 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 la. Hey, ain't no way they're gonna take me away. Oh no, ain't no way. Oh no, not today. I said I am the poison you fear is real. Sono io, sono io, sono io. To infiltrate and to destroy. Siamo noi, siamo noi, siamo noi. And I won't be afraid, and I won't be afraid, I won't be afraid, we won't be afraid to a day. La 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 la. Thank you guys so much. Oh, thank you.
I want to give you that and ask you to save a CD for me.
Okay, I will, for sure. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Thanks to everybody who's here in real life, but also virtually. I'm going to play one more song, and yeah, I guess, so this last song I'm going to play, it's called Uccellino, which means little bird in Italian. And I wrote it initially because I went to Italy and I was with a family friend, and every time that we would get together, her family would cook these huge meals. And, you know, when I was little, I thought that my family cooked huge meals because whenever my American friends from, you know, your let's say majority American culture would come to my house, they would say, "Oh my God, what is this feast that we're having? Is it a special occasion or something?" And I say, "No, this is a feast. This is like what we have every single night for dinner. This is just normal for us." But when I went to Italy, that's when shit got real, because this girl's family would try to feed me so much, and her mom would make these huge plates of pasta. And so after a day of us hanging out together, we'd come home, and she would have these huge plates of pasta, and I would struggle to finish them so much. And then once I was finally done, she would bring out the second course. And at that point, I was just like, no, I can't do this. At a certain point, you can't keep pretending. Like, your body is just telling you, like, no, like, that this can't happen anymore. And it was at that moment that her mom told me, Amanda, tu mangi come un uccellino. You eat like a little bird. And so I started being called Uccellino. And for me, it had a different meaning. For me, it had the meaning of I travel around the world piecing together parts of where my family comes from, and that diaspora, feeling like I never truly belonged to any one place. I am the little bird. And so I'll leave it at that. This song is called Uccellino, so little bird. Thanks so much again to the Mucky Duck, to everybody here now, to my partner who is here now, my parents, Juan, my sound guy, Teresa, who is running the lights and video, and Rusty, of course, and Shane, and the bartenders and chefs and everybody like that. Thank you guys so much. I was born along a dashed yellow line that runs straight through the highway in a land that isn't mine. And my mama told me, figlia mia, this is where you ought to stay. Queste strade, con loro lastricate. Say da hi da di da di da di da ya, hi da di da di da di da ya. I grew up along the lines that separate the seas, and I waved to children on the street as they called out to me, and they spoke of the ancient maps of all of Lady Lindy's paths. They led to somewhere she traversed alone. She was searching to never find a home. Hi da di da di da di da ya, hi da di da di da di da ya. Uccellino, they call me Uccellino, 'cause it means forever till the day I fly away. Uccellino, vola col destino e folle d'amore fino al giorno che morirà. I was grown when Sorellina came to search for me. Well, she wrote a letter to me and she said she'd set me free. She said chi si volta, chi si gira, sempre a casa va a finire. Oh ziganka, take your heart and leave it. Quelle strade dure, oh how they deceive. Hi da di da di da di da. Hi da di da di da di da. Oh Uccellino, call me Uccellino, 'cause it means forever till the day I fly away. Uccellino, vola col destino eppure folle d'amore fino al giorno che morirà. I said hi da di da di da di da, oh hi da di da di da di da, oh hi da di da di da di da, hi da di da di da di da. Tra le nuvole e tra le stelle io sono nata. Tra i pianeti, somewhere nell'universo, io sono nata. Quella americana, quella che è gitana, quella che è partigiana. Sera ra 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 di da ra 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 di da 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 da. Sera ra 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 di da da ra 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 di da ra 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 da da da. Folle d'amore fino al giorno che morirà. Thank you guys so much. I am Amanda Pascali, and thank you so much to the Mucky Duck and all of you guys.